Hi, Senator Vance. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News. So a woman who was behind an early Facebook post about the Haitian migrants in Springfield has now apologized for spreading false rumors. You say that you have a responsibility to share what your constituents tell you, but don't you also have a responsibility to fact check them first?
Well, I think the media has a responsibility to fact check the residents of Springfield, not lie about them.
Well, there you have Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance continuing to avoid any responsibility for spreading vicious and unfounded rumors about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. Now, he says that the media should do the fact checking. The media has been doing the fact checking, but J.D. Vance has refused to admit that he was spreading a flat out lie. A lie that makes Republicans overall lose credibility when they raise genuine, like real concerns about, immigration or what's happening at the border. So it's just infuriating. And now we have an interesting Wall Street Journal report about one of the missing cats in Springfield that was also being utilized as evidence of Haitians kidnapping cats and eating them. We're gonna give you that update in just a second.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. Yeah, that's hilarious, by the way, so don't miss that. And I love that we're having the Wall Street Journal investigate missing cats in Ohio. Because that's the level of absurdity that the Trump Vance ticket has. But I wanted to point out two things about when he said, the media has a responsibility to do fact checking. Wait, when they did a fact check on Trump in the debate, you guys lost it. He said, the media should never do a fact check. Now all of a sudden they have the responsibility to do fact checks. Can you make up your mind? And by the way, the person in the media was asking you about a fact check. They had done a fact check and they were asking you about it. And then you said, you have a responsibility to do the thing that you just asked me about. Wait, what? It doesn't have to make sense, it's Republican.
Look, we all make stupid decisions, okay? Some of us make decisions that are stupider than others. I get that, right? But it's all about how you react after you've realized that you made a bad mistake. You could either compound the mistake, as J.D. Vance is doing, or you could say, you know what? I guess I was wrong. I was wrong about that. I should not have said that. However, there are some legitimate concerns, and then go into the legitimate concerns. But he just can't do it. Look, a leader is able to take responsibility. What happened to the Republican Party? Look, when I was younger, I actually didn't value this as much as I do right now. As an older person who's a little more mature, things like honor, things like respecting human beings, things like personal responsibility. I am so thirsty for that in politics, but it doesn't exist. And the Republican Party, which branded itself with those characteristics, has completely shed that from their branding, from who they are.
100%. So you said what happened to the Republican Party? Trump happened to the Republican Party. So the reports are that Trump is very happy with how J.D. Vance is doing on the campaign trail.
Disaster.
I mean, J.D. Vance admitted that he created this fake story about the eating of the cats and the dogs. And Trump's like, attaboy. And Anna points out, well, why don't you just say you were wrong and then move on to the things you're right about or whatever. No, the fact that he's quadrupling down on being wrong, Trump loves. He's like, nah, he's being strong on the campaign trail.
You're debasing yourself, JD. You are debasing yourself.
Well, that was baked in. The minute he went from Trump's Hitler to I love Trump and how do I get the power through Trump?
All right, so before we get to that Wall Street Journal revelation about the missing cat in Springfield, I do want to just go to a little more video from J.D. Vance's rally. This was on Tuesday. Let's hear more of what he had to say.
I actually think this is really interesting, and I've learned a lot about the American media over the last week, and none of it's good, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But look, what I've learned here is, first of all, I've got residents of Springfield who are coming to me with a dozen different problems. They've been talking about it for months or in some cases years. The American media totally ignored it until they showed up to fact check what some people were saying about pets. So here's the issue. So there's one story out there from multiple people, by the way, multiple people have come to my office, have said on video, they talk about the pet story. And that's all the American media wants to talk about. And of course, the American media goes into Springfield, dives in, harasses everybody who dares to complain about the condition of the town. That is not journalism, and that's not seeking the truth. That is bullying on an industrial scale. And I think the media ought to be ashamed of itself.
Should they? Should they? Now, after that, Vance and his office acquired a new piece of evidence to further their anti-immigrant rhetoric, and basically shoved it in the faces of journalists, including the Wall Street Journal, to show them, you see, this is the real truth. Cats are missing. Cats are missing. So a Vance spokesperson on Tuesday provided the Wall Street Journal with a police report in which a resident had claimed her pet might have or may have been taken by Haitian neighbors, okay? And guess what? Here's the update. But when a reporter went to Anna Kilgore's house Tuesday evening, she said her cat, Miss Sassy, which went missing in late August, had actually returned a few days later, found safe in her own basement. Kilgore, wearing a Trump shirt and hat, said she apologized to her Haitian neighbors with the help of her daughter and a mobile phone translation app. And here's Sassy, a little picture of Sassy.
Aw, Miss Sassy. Had no idea the kind of trouble she was gonna cause when she was hanging out in the basement.
These felines, man, they'll get you.
Okay, so JD Vance said that the media is bullying the people of Springfield, Ohio. There's been 36 bomb threats to hospitals and schools in Springfield by lunatic right-wingers because they think that they're allowing the Haitians to eat all the cats and dogs in town. 36 bomb threats. But the media is bullying Springfield? A GOP congressman from the area went on TV today and was like, we gotta stop. It's tearing the community apart. Springfield is like at war with itself because of what Trump and Vance are saying. It isn't true, and they keep saying it, so the people who believe them, like it's hard for us to understand how anyone could be so stupid as to believe these two, right? But tens of millions of people, up to 100 million people believe every word that comes out of their lying mouths. So those guys think, in their heads, remember, you have to be in their heads. They're like, oh my God, they're eating Mr. Snuffles and Miss Sassy. I have to go help them. I'm gonna bomb them to make sure they don't eat my cat and dog.
It's so dumb for so many different reasons. Obviously, because it leads to hatred and fear and paranoia about Haitian migrants. But also, right, like what is the outcome of all of this other than the hate? The outcome is any legitimate concern that residents of Springfield, Ohio might actually have about the influx of migrants will be ignored. No one will take it seriously. And I do think that they have some legitimate concerns, as we've talked about on this show. Look, I'm sorry guys, I get it. You want to be supportive of immigration and migrants, I get that and I'm with you. But if you're a small town of like 30 to 40,000 people, and all of a sudden there's 20,000 new migrants coming in a short period of time, that's going to overwhelm your hospitals, your infrastructure, everything. So those are legitimate concerns, but those concerns will not be talked about and fixed if the opening line is Haitian migrants are stealing people's cats and eating them. Come on.
No sane person is going to take you seriously. I get it that 100 million people in this country are not sane, and that is deeply disturbing. But the rest of us think you look and sound freaking ridiculous. And so, look, on the immigrants that are coming, all those Haitians are legal, and the people who quote unquote brought them in were local corporations. So, but nobody's talking about how the corporations decided, oh, we're gonna do this in this town and we don't care.
Yeah, because the faux populists on the right love the corporations, okay? They might tell you they don't. They might tell you that they're looking out for you as an ordinary American and an average worker, but at the end of the day, isn't it interesting that the criticism wasn't toward the corporations and the companies operating out of Springfield, Ohio. Instead, they immediately went toward attacking Haitian migrants.
That's exactly what I was gonna get to, Anna, because the reason they're coming out with this absurd thing and attacking the immigrants themselves is because if they had to actually attack the root cause of the problem, they'd have to talk about their own corporate donors. So they're not gonna do that. So they wanna distract you and get the people of Springfield to hate each other, just like now the Republican congressman admits. Now they hate each other. And now you're not talking about the plants and what they did, and you're not talking about, by the way, the guys who are the abusive landlords that are now packing the Haitians in and increasing the rent for the locals, which is part of the reason why the locals are super mad, because they can't afford the housing anymore.
Exactly, yes.
And the guys that are doing that, well, they're business people, so the Republicans want to protect them. So what did they do? They distracted you into an immigrant versus Native American fight, a cultural war fight, while the bad guys who are actually in league with the Republicans are actually still doing the same exact thing.
Exactly, yes. It's infuriating.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.